Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. Still over here at the 49er truck stop. Looking for a load out of here. There ain't shit going out of here. Anyways, just waiting for my son. Ace into space, don't be mace on my face. When I suit up, I lace up my shoelaces. None of my homies are two-faced. Said that to my son for his birthday. His name's Ace. Anyways, so I'm doing, I did a video, I don't know, a couple months ago on, how to be a weak-ass truck driver rapper. No, I said I got busted at a scale in Utah, Monticello, Utah. I was overweight. They loaded me. I was too far up on my trailer, which the broker reimbursed me to have the load pushed back, because initially I told the guys I don't want it up that close, and they're like, no, that's the way we load it. And anyways, but it's my equipment at the end of the day, so I have to own it. It's my fault. But because of that, the scale cop he put me out of service for not wearing eyeglasses when I was driving in. So I'll tell you how you can beat this stuff. Okay, well, not beat it, but rectify it on your CSA score, on your Fmcsa company profile. So what had happened was last year, actually I think it was in 2020. I was in South Dakota, about to go into Minnesota, and they had a checkpoint at a rest area going out of South Dakota into Minnesota. So pull in, cop comes up, DOT cop, not a regular state trooper, no weapon or handcuffs, just, you know, these guys think that they're somebody special. So he says, I'm going to do a level 1 or level 3 on you. So just check paperwork, whatever the case is. And he comes walking up. Now I'm at a rest area, so I'm parked in one spot, and there's an empty space, and then maybe there's 2 empty spaces, and then another truck. And the cop comes up to me and says, you weren't wearing your eyeglasses when you drove. Or he says, are you wearing contacts? I said, no, sir. He says, okay, well, you weren't wearing your eyeglasses when you drove in. And I said, I know. He says, well, you're required to wear corrective lenses while you drive. And I said, no, I'm not. And sure enough, he showed me on the back of my license. He says, it states right here you need corrective lenses. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I never knew that. So I look over to the semi that's parked two spaces over, and I said, sir, I can read everything on that truck. So I read it off, and he looks at me and he says, you're not wearing contacts. I said, no. He said, well, it's obvious you don't need corrective lenses. I said, no, I never have. He says, well, I have to write you a citation. I said, you have to write me a citation? He's like, yeah, okay. So now I'm kind of pissed. So come to find out, when I did my DOT physical in Baytown, Texas, they checked that I needed corrective lenses. So when I took the paperwork into Wisconsin DMV, it was marked on my thing. I never looked at it. So first off, make sure you look at your physical, your DOT physical, because there is an area where they check that you need corrective lenses or a hearing aid or whatever the case is. So then I had to go to Sioux Falls, South Dakota and fight it. And I got there and they said, you don't have a court date today. I said, yeah, I do. And I asked if I could go up and see the DA. She says, sure. Go upstairs, talk to the DA, tell her the whole situation. And she says, because in South Dakota, a lot of people don't know, but you have to pay the citation before you leave. So I would still be sitting there. So the officer said, you have to pay before you leave. I said, okay. It was like $200 or like $300, $304 or something like that. And she says, the DA says, well, you already, because I told her, I said, hey, I went back into DMV and I took another eye exam. I don't need glasses. So I showed her my new license. And I said, I went and got another physical. I've never needed glasses. She said, oh, I can see that as your new license and the new DOT physical. So she says, but there's nothing I can do about it because you already paid the citation. I said, ma'am, I have to pay the citation or else I'd still be there. So she's like, really? So she steps away for a second, calls Highway Patrol. They verify, yep, that's true. She comes back. She says, oh my God, that's ridiculous. So she dropped all the charges and reimbursed me my money. So then I went to get a load, I don't know, a couple months later with a new broker. And they said, well, we can't use you because your CSA scores. And I'm like, what? My CSA score's always been good. They said, you have driving a commercial vehicle without a CDL. I'm like, whoa, what? So sure enough, I call Fmcsa, and they state, yeah, that's the violation. If you are required to wear glasses or a hearing aid while driving, it is considered driving a commercial vehicle without a CDL. So then I had to open up a DataQ. So I had to get a PIN number from Fmcsa. They send you a PIN number. It takes a little bit. So you can actually create a user account on Fmcsa's website. And then you can open up, there's an option up top where you can actually click on to tap DataQ, which you're contesting whatever the charge is. So I went ahead and did that, and first of all, I called South Dakota and I said, hey, listen, this is the story or the situation. It wasn't a story, it was a truth. And the lieutenant I talked to said, there's nothing we could do. He said, you have to go through Fmcsa. I'm like, that is ridiculous. He said, I know, but he said, contact your senator. He said, we feel the same way. Anyway, so I reach out to South Dakota, asked for my court documents. They were nice. They emailed it to me. I included it in the DataQ. Now I can't go on my tablet and show you how to do the DataQ because my PIN number's in my office and my wife's not there to retrieve it for me. But I've had some people say, hey man, you should do a video on how to do a DataQ. So I went on there. You have to include. So there's a section where you click on it. It gets you into a DataQ window or screen, and then you have to put all the pertinent information. You got to put your company information, your driver information. You have to put the citation number. You have to put the officer's name, the time of inspection, everything that's on your inspection sheet for a level 1, 2, or 3. You have to include stuff in there, and then there's a remark box where you have, or explanation bar, why you are contesting this. So that's what you have to do. And nobody showed me how to do this. I just did it on my own. So you guys could definitely do it on your own. If I could figure it out, you guys could figure it out. So then I had to do that, and then I included in the DataQ window, there's a section where you can click on it to add files. So make sure that you download your files onto your phone or your tablet or your computer, whatever the case is. And then once you follow the prompts, next, blah, 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 it says your DataQ entry was successful. And then they say that they're going to send all that information to the state that did, or the city or the officer or whatever that did the DOT inspection. They review it and they make their decision. So because it was cut and dry that I never needed contacts or glasses to drive, South Dakota dropped the charges. So then it came off my Fmcsa score. That's how that works. You have to do a DataQ. You have to learn how to do a DataQ, guys. So what happened on this last time out, somehow, some way, Wisconsin still had it in the system, not on my license and not on my med card. Go in, cop says, I need glasses to drive. I said, no, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. I said, I got all day. I can do this with you. But I've never needed glasses. And I told him exactly what happened. He says, I don't care what your license says or your med card. It's in the system that you need glasses to drive. I'm like, I don't get it. So I call Wisconsin right in front of the officer, tell him or tell her, hey, listen, blah, this is the situation. She says, no, you don't need glasses to drive. And then as she's talking, she goes, oh, somebody forgot to remove it in the system. So I had her on speakerphone. I look at the officer, said, did you hear what she said? He goes, yeah, but it's still, you weren't wearing glasses, and that's the way it was when you drove in. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So anyway, so then I had to reach out to Wisconsin because he put me out of service for it. But then she changed it in the system, so when he checked the system again, I was out. It was out of the system. I didn't need glasses to drive. And I'm like, so you could see it's their error. He's like, I don't care. I'm like, oh, you're a dick. Anyways, so then I had to contact Wisconsin. Wisconsin sends me a letter in the mail stating that it was their error, and they sent me a new license. I don't know why they did that, because there was nothing on my license stating I needed glasses. So anyway, so now I got to go through the whole DataQ thing again. So I have the inspection paperwork, so I have to go back into DataQ. I got to put my PIN number in. I got to file. You're going to want to call Fmcsa. And if you don't, I can't get on my phone and give you the number. I can give you my number, so if you ever need help with a DataQ, I will help you. I am not that way. You can call me at 414-477-7845. If you have any questions about your own authority, about DataQ, about Fmcsa, I'm not a know-it-all, I'm not a guru, but I figured a lot of stuff out on my own. Again, my number is 414-477-7845. My real name is Kurt Sabella. So anyway, so now I had to reopen another whole DataQ thing, because I already know from the previous situation that it's considered driving a commercial vehicle without a license again. So I got it, and now I go on the Fmcsa site, and I can't access it. For some reason, it took me out of the system. So then they had to send me another link. If you call Fmcsa, all you got to do is Google, customer service Fmcsa. Make sure it's the actual Fmcsa, because there's a lot of companies out there pretending to be Fmcsa, and they'll charge you for the stuff that they're doing. Make sure it's the real fmcsa.gov, all right? Call them, tell them that you want to open a DataQ, whatever the case is, if you already have a PIN number. If you don't have a PIN number, you're going to have to request a PIN number. That gets you started, is the PIN number. It's like a 7-digit, whatever, letters and numbers together. So then I had to put everything back in there, the officer, the time, the federal statute. That's on your citation. They have a federal statute, what the offense is, right? So then I download my docs and everything, and they receive it. It's successful, blah, blah. They're going to contact or forward this information over to Utah DOT. Well, then anytime who they send it out to, anytime they respond, Fmcsa forwards that to your email, so you're still in the loop. Well, then after they sent the docs, Utah reviewed it, and at first they said, well, according to the officer's information at the time, it was rightful or legal, whatever the case is. And then I was like, these mother effers are not going to drop this. Well, then later, or further into their comment, or the paragraph, whatever, they said, but however, being that Wisconsin sent the letter to the driver or whatever, that it was their error, we're going to remove this from your Fmcsa safety score. So I was like, oh, I was completely just relieved. So then it was removed, and now we're here. So that was removed, thank God. But again, if you guys have and this is the thing, these officers, they don't give a shit. They're out to do their job, right? So it's up to you as the motor carrier or the driver, even if you're a driver for somebody, it's still your responsibility to open up a DataQ, because it stays on there for 5 years. And once you're in the system, so DataQ has you're either safe or not safe. There is no like in between, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but there's either you're a safe company or not safe, and that's what the brokers look on, and that's what you want, a safe safety score, obviously. So that's how you do it. Again, if you have any questions at all pertaining to anything about trucking, give me a call, 414-477-7845. I just wanted to give you guys, because I've had some people say, hey, can you do a quick video? And this isn't quick, it's what, 15 minutes long. Can you do a video on the DataQ on what do you need or whatever? And like I said, you're gonna need a PIN number, and you're going to need to contact Fmcsa first, and then they'll the prompts on the telephone, whatever, you got to pick the prompt, whatever, and then the customer service rep will come, tell them that you need a PIN number. That's what you need initially to start anything, is a PIN number. So anyways, and again, give me a call if you guys have any questions. I'd love to help people and pay it forward. So anyways, please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.